it. The recorded version should be available in the LMS later stage. Hmm.
Okay.
Okay, right. See, today we are going to discuss about MJM 24 and first session. There will be three more sessions for this course. One on 20, uh, today's what, 26th, right? 26th. And two sessions we'll do it today, and two more sessions we'll do it next week. Right, and once this sessions are over for MGM 24, then remaining is only one course, MGM 25. That my colleague Batmri Jain will handle it from next week onwards. So probably apart from today, you may have sessions for two more weekends, next weekend and then the second weekend. So with that, we'll have to wind up because we started from sometime in February onwards, right? But all the sessions are recorded. Hopefully, it will be available in the LMS whenever you want to check it. You can check it later stage. That's a plan. So this is a course supposed to you have to learn this course initially. Though for the first year we have six theory courses, reporting techniques, writing for editing, for print media, broadcast journalism. These are practice oriented. These courses will teach you about how to write for newspaper, magazines, radio, TV, and how to collect the stories and all. Many of you are working journalists, as we are university teachers, must be having a lot of understanding about these topics. Apart from these three generic courses related to journalism, we have two more: Introduction to Journalism and Media and Society. These two are more in terms of theoretical understanding the role of media and different contexts. So, Introduction to Communication gives wide variety of topics, starting from the history, then ownership pattern, then marketing communication, advertising, then basic concepts of communication theories and everything. This particular course, Media and Society, is the one I would strongly recommend you to spend more time with this course. Learn more about that. This is about nothing about learning some skill, learning something about reporting, learning something about writing. Not like that. There's no skill attached with that. But this particular course will give you a platform for you to learn what media can do on different disciplines, different fields. Very crucial role media is supposed to play, being it in Asian context or African context or European context, wherever the social setup, media plays a very crucial role in terms of providing information. That's a basic fundamental function of any media platform. You listen to radio news frequently. If you listen to the radio news, you'll come to know more about the developments. Or sometimes people prefer to read more news developments through newspapers, and some sections prefer to watch news through television only. And there are youngsters, they prefer to receive any news from Instagram through social media. So different segments, different audience, they prefer to have update themselves through various platforms. Newspapers are fundamentally meant for providing information and knowledge. This is a one function of media, providing information. The second most important function of media is entertainment. Entertainment, in the sense, compared to information, entertainment seems to be a very large industry. Large section of the people, they'll prefer to spend more time with the entertainment content. Anyway, we are getting information from multiple sources. With the internet connectivity nowadays, you will receive information from various quarter WhatsApp messages or Instagram messages. If I have enabled the notification, messages might be bombard you throughout the day, 24 to 7, and 7 weeks, 7 days in a week, and 365 days. There is no limit of information for updating ourselves. But entertainment is the one is being looked after by many large section. Hollywood, you take the Hollywood part, that's a very strong industry. They have presence in every nook and corner of the globe. The Oscar award, if you look at the Oscar award, it's dominated by the Hollywood films, are dominated by English speaking, or dominated by films produced in developed countries. Okay, and one of the most the popular award function, and that signifies the achievement, that signifies the quality. Many things are there. We have this other different types of industries, film industries here and there. That also plays a crucial role, right? And this is the film industry. Other than that, it's a television entertainment. Now, television entertainment is being diversified into various segments, traditional, typical, weekly, daily serials. Are now the entertainment are being timing is being utilized by sports segment, the football or cricket or Wimbledon. You take the sports category, that also being used extensively. Live broadcast is extensively for entertainment purposes. We used to entertain ourselves if we watch the football match. Similarly, there are many games. Compared to information and entertainment is the largest industry as well as largest audience segment. A lot of money is being played among the investment profit. This is a huge an amount of money is being played out here. The third function of media is education. Education, in the sense, not necessary that the media, a newspaper, or television, or film, taking some classes for the audience. Not like that. We used to learn a lot. Information is the one we are getting about to update ourselves, and we used to learn a lot. Suppose there is a program about from BBC talking about Amazon forest. It's partly entertainment because it's a very hard document. Documentaries are not necessarily packaged in an entertainment perspective. Okay, it's a reality. They're documenting the reality, but they present it in a very they package it, and the narrative style and the style of presenting information looks different from newspapers. The way they provide the information, but it's not entertainment. It will go beyond information, so that can be classified as a education. So these are the three fundamental functions of media. In those relationship, there are many factors associated with that. Remember that 90% of the global media industry, I'm saying 90% means hypothetically I have to say 100%. But there are good experiments happening across the globe where here and there, newspapers, media industry are functioning without profit. There are many. But largely, television, newspaper, radio, film are primarily meant for profit oriented. They are the business. They are in the business. Actually, they're selling the news. They're selling the entertainment. And we are spending our time, either for newspaper, we are spending some money daily basis. Television means monthly subscription, we are paying that. Film means either we'll pay the theater, we go to the theaters and we'll pay the money, or we'll watch it through online streaming, we'll pay for monthly subscription of OTT. Somehow we are paying the money. See, I'm one individually, I'm paying the money. But look at the television rating point. Television is being consumed by CNN. Take the CNN part. Globally, millions of people are accessing that. There are two ways in which they'll make a profit. One, subscription. CNN or BBC or other international channels are available everywhere, and it's being packaged as a part of. It depends upon the different countries' policies. Being packaged as a part of the direct-to-home package. So possibly you need to spend some small fraction of dollars for accessing CNN or BBC. So I'm as a one person, I'm paying zero point 0.1 US dollar. I'm not even saying $1, $0.1, 10 cent, you can say that. I'm one individual, I'm paying that. Like that, they have millions of audience, multiply by zero point 0.1 US dollar, multiply by number of months, then calculate that how much money they're getting. This is a through subscription. And advertisement is another segment. So the channel got millions of users. That's a space the corporates wants to occupy. Corporates, what they want to reach out to the large number of people in with with a minimal effort. Television channels through news and other entertainment component, have gathered the audience. So everybody likes to watch the very popular channels like a BBC or CNN or ESPN or the Star Sports or something like that. So these are brand name media brands. We know what kind of package they do that. So we watch that, and we have a loyalty. And we prefer to watch a particular channel. So we spend an average good number of time with the media. So our time is the demand for raw material for TV channels. The television channel is a mediator, and this is a platform. So audience, they're coming from other side, corporates comes from other side. So corporates, they utilize the media platform to reach out to the audience, millions of audience. The corporates, they'll sell the product, whichever the product, ice cream or toothpaste or consumer goods, they sell it to the millions of people. So one advertisement they'll make, they'll give it to the channel, they'll fix the rate for that, prime time or non-prime time. Based on the prime time and non-prime time, they fix the rate for advertisements, and they'll add the advertisement, and millions of people are accessing that. So it's a maybe $500 or $100 or $2,000 or $3,000. They charge for maybe a couple of times, maybe in a day, maybe two, three times, or in a week, maybe 10 times. The marketing mix, the ad agency, they helps the corporate company and media agency, media channels. They help the those two players. When do we need to play the particular advertisement? Midnight or afternoon or evening, within the program time. So they'll fix the slot based on the audience profile. Ultimately, the audience number matters, how many number of people are watching, that based on which they'll get money. So subscription gives 20% of the profit. Advertisements brings 80% of the profit. So advertisements, if you want to take more because profit comes from advertisements. If you want to take more money, then you have to produce good package of media content through which you have to attract the audience. More audience you have means you are successful. That many number of audience you're translating into number of hours you're handing over to corporates that to play the advertisements. This is a very simple logic. But here, what happens, right? This is the media, that's a business and profit oriented. So, for sake of profit oriented, they have to be in a limelight. They have to attract the attention of audience always. So they have to do some different tactics. And if you go through the journalism courses like reporting techniques, writing, and all the headlines, it has to be catchy. You have to give very good caption for pictures. The news writing should be very simple. You have to write, don't write a complex words and all. Why do we need to do all this? Because the audience who are spending time with you, right, they should enjoy while reading your content. If you make it very difficult to read your sentence, then they switch out to next newspaper. Or if your television package is very boring, they'll change it to another channel. Okay, it's a fraction of a second they can do it easily. Okay, so but the ultimately loss for the channel or newspaper. If you are not able to retain your good number of audience, you are losing a profit. So no newspaper, no television channel can afford it. It's not possible for them. So they'll try all the creative techniques to package the content in a very creative manner to attract the audience, to keep attracting and keeping those audience for a longer period of time. So loyalty, you have to develop the loyalty with the audience as a media product. So these are business tactics of media. This is one aspect of the media. For the sake of business tactics, what happens, right? They have to compromise. Compromise means they can't go against the majority audience interest. If the majority, because simply in every society there's a hierarchy. Hierarchy in the sense either gender wise hierarchy or ethnic groups wise hierarchy. Some of the group might be dominant, they have more power, government with maybe with them, or more corporates are there, or maybe they have more purchasing power. Whatever means, some group always dominates other group, either gender perspective or ethnic perspective or class perspective or a region perspective. You can find various groups, and media always wants to satisfy the powerful people. Remember that the powerful people is always attracts the content as per their taste. Media can't afford to go against the powerful group, either the government sector or corporate sector or within the society, any audience segment, they can't go against them. If suppose in a society the male and female ratio is equal, almost equal in all the social context, but a representation of a male and female varies from social setup. In the newspapers or in a uh, television industry or film industry. For example, you take the James Bond, that is 007 Hollywood movie. You take all the movies produced in the last 100 years. How many movies produced? Of course, the character is a male character. How much importance they are giving for the counterpart, the heroine, the female actress? What is their role into that? Just see that. You will find a lot of differences. And this is given one example. Or you take the successful, all the box office Hollywood movies in the last 3 years, 5 years. Find out how many characters they have and how many characters represents the majority, how many characters represent the minority. You can find a very logical sequence of events saying that the majority importance given to the characters which represents the powerful group. Powerful in the sense that the media, the film or newspaper, television, they can satisfy those powerful group through which they can maintain the profit. So automatically what happens, right? The powerful group cannot be a majority, right? Always the small group dominates the majority, right? The majority gets very diverse with limited representation, whereas proportionately the small group proportionally get a large attention. Why they're doing? Because they are the business people. Media is in a business. They can't afford losing the profit, so they have to satisfy all the powerful social stakeholders. This is a drawback with the business operation. This is the one. Secondly, media is a very powerful institution. Powerful in the sense they are the one changing the mindset. They are the one changing the opinion. They are the one changing your decisions. Majority of the time, the decision making is being influenced indirectly by the media. For example, you take the election, democratic setup, election, the voting behavior is an individual choice. And as an individual, as a citizen, I may not have a direct link with the candidates. Last week, you people are saying Nigeria, there was an election of a president or governor or local body meeting and all. Every one of the every citizen in Nigeria may not have a direct connection with the candidates, all the candidates. But the citizens or common people, they get to know more about the candidates through media only. The way media projects the people, right? Accordingly, if it is a positively projected continuously, you will get a positive opinion. Or if it is negatively portrayed, then automatically it gives a different opinion, right? There is a classic statement from the Hitler government, the Gopal. He was the information minister during the World War One and Two time, between the time. If you repeat a one statement 100 times, that point of time radio was very popular. If you repeat a one statement 100 times, even the right or wrong, you repeat 100 times, that become a truth. Okay, so that is the powerful capacity of the media. It has a capacity to influence your opinion. And as a voter, I get influenced by various inputs, and I get influenced by them, and I change my opinion. And then I prefer the candidate according to my taste, or the taste set by my nearby peer group. Okay, the peer group is indirectly influenced by media, right? So these are the once the elected government is coming and playing tactically using the media, then the next 5 years media gets a lot of support. And I'm not saying for one country, in every social setup, media plays a very role, good role, positive role, negative role, influenced by a powerful group. So media is powerful because there's a mass reach. The corporates they're using because the profit required. It's a very powerful. It influences the opinion. So political parties, government, and the influential social stakeholders, they start influencing the media to reach out to the larger sections. Ultimately, they want a positive opinion. Everyone wants the positive opinion. A rating point, good rating point required. Okay, so you just see the points. Profit oriented media, they have some limited functions. Since very powerful, they attracts a lot of influence. Many stake powerful group, they start utilizing the media. So this process, a lot of compromises happens. Compromises since the media ultimately they have to satisfy the audience because they have to retain them. They can't go against the powerful group, and you have to have audience. Then only you can get the corporates. They are the funding agency because through advertisements you can't write against the corporates. If you write against the corporates, tomorrow they may not give you the advertisements. It will last for you, and it's you are very powerful. So government always wanted to use them, and you can't go against the government. I'm saying that there are many channels, many newspapers. They go along with the government because they have to survive, because they get a lot of incentives. The government agency is one of the top advertiser. You know that they sponsor a lot of advertisements, and many media companies they get subsidies from the government, so they can't afford to write against the government. But these are the one aspect of the powerfulness, but you can find plenty of examples. The channels that stood against the government, stood against the powerful group. They wrote strongly against the different agencies. They brought different changes, and you can connect with it. You might have heard the term watchdog. Watchdog is a term connected with the media. In a democratic country, there are four pillars for democracy: the parliament, the executive, the parliament, where the elected representatives are making, enacting the law, right? They're the primary pillar. The once the law is enacted, that law has to be enforced, executed, maintained. These are the executives, the government servants, public servants. The parliament, they enact the law, The public servants, the executives, they implement the law. If there is a issue between two different agencies, parties, and everything, there's a dispute about the law, then the third party is required to negotiate and settle the dispute. That's why the judiciary is the third pillar. The fourth pillar is the media. The fourth pillar is the media is supposed to watch all the public institutions, government, or public servants, or judiciary, or corporates, hospitals. You take any public institution, the social institution, they're supposed to work for the public because they are working based on the money collected through tax. Our money, individual common people's money is being going to the government. They are spending our money to function, to manage the country. So they have to fulfill the demand of the common people. They should not deviate from the commitments. Okay, that's what supposed the media is supposed to watchdog. What they are watching the watchdog. They watch the performance of public institutions. No, there should not be any corruption. There should not be any misuse of the government machinery. There should not be any deviation of policy. There should not be any favoritism to any group. Right. So these are the responsibility of media to monitor that. But you can easily agree with me how many of the current uh, setup of media performing like a watch. There are plenty of examples for both the side. There are good number of people, good number of institutions. They are performing purely performing as a watchdog. Equally, there are good number of media institutions. They are completely ignoring their responsibility. They are going in support of the powerful group. You will find plenty of examples. But here, the people who are towing, they are going along with the powerful. You will find plenty of more numbers. The people who are stood and standing by their policy, they function as a watchdog. Small number, maybe small number, but they'll make a lot of differences. Okay, so these are the some idea about the media role in social setup. I don't know whether you have any questions on this point or not. If you have any questions, ask me. I want to play a small video. This is a video about the video in unit 1. We have produced a small videos for individual units, not for all the courses. For MJM 24, along the MAJMC students from earlier batches, they helped me to create a small videos, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes videos for individual units. That's the easiest way to understand the concept. So if you have any questions so far, whatever I discussed, ask me. Otherwise, I'll play the video. I'll share the video link later also. It's available on YouTube only, so anyone can watch it. So shall I play the video?
IPL only on Geo Cinema.
This is Dave, head of marketing at a ketchup company about to use Grammarly to handle.
Society is influenced by the media in so many ways. It is the media that provides information to the people about a lot of things and so that they form opinions and make a judgment regarding various issues. It is the media which keeps people updated and informed about what is happening around them and the world so that everyone draws something from it. Media is considered a mirror of modern society. In fact, it is the media which shapes our day-to-day lives. With the advent of technology, media now includes television, radio, and internet, and of course, the traditional print media. In today's world, media has become as essential as any other daily needs. Media today is playing an outstanding role in creating and shaping public opinion and strengthening society. Society is defined as a group of people living as a community or an organized group of people for a common purpose, whereas the word media is derived from the word medium signifying mode or carrier. Media is intended to reach and address a large audience. The word was first used in respect of books and newspapers. Media covers various aspects of society, including events such as agitations and protests by various communities. Some examples are the Jat agitation in 2016 in Haryana, which resulted in large-scale damage to public property. Gujar agitation in 2019 in Rajasthan, which resulted in disruption of train traffic. Anti-CAA riots in 2020 in Delhi, which caused a lot of damage to public property and loss of innocent lives. And farmers' protest in 2021. From times immemorial, media has remained an integral part of human civilization. From the days of Vedas and Upanishads to edicts of kings and emperors like Chandragupta and Ashoka, to the medieval Indian mass gatherings, to the modern days audio, video, and print media. Media has always taken center stage for shaping our society. The media that we know today is almost a century old and can be traced to when newspapers were available for a single penny. This period was known as the era of penny press. The power of media influence on masses was first seen during the First World War, when they were effectively managed and directed towards war aims. After the Second World War, a rapid growth of media was seen, which influenced all spheres of life. During the days of freedom struggle, newspapers like Tilak's Maratha, Mahatma Ji's Young India acted as the platform to place the demands of common Indian and to express solitude with freedom fighters. During the emergency of 1975 to 1977, press coverage in India was censored. So, as a protest, India Today left its editorial page blank to denote censorship. Indian media in the post-independence era has grown dramatically, and today it comprises more than 50,000 different media houses. Media scholars Karen Deming and Samuel Becker argue that media operations are too vital to our lives to be disregarded. Being the fourth and the strongest pillar of democracy, media enjoys a place of privilege in the society. It is argued that media is not only a mirror of the society but also an instrument of social change. Media must have a close look at the society in all its manifestations with a penetrating eye. Further, Daniel Hallen and Paolo Mancini said, one cannot understand the news media without understanding the nature of the state, the system of political parties, the pattern of relations between economic and political interest, and the development of civil society, among other elements of social structure. Since the introduction of television in our country in the late 70s, visual media has become a very potential tool for informing the current news to the society, entertaining the people, and shaping up of public opinion. Media gives rise to nationalism, modernization, individualism, and objectivism, among other things. Media helps in fighting against corruption, nepotism, cronyism of institutional machinery by carrying out relentless campaigns against them. The World Wide Web and Web 2.0 technologies have given way to electronic media where even the common man can express views using blogs and tweets. But it's always better to use social media to impact people and not impress them. Coupled with traditional print media, broadcast and social media cater to a very diverse media industry in India. Media is the sword arm of democracy. Media acts as a watchdog to protect public interest against malpractices and create public awareness. Today, when politicians are taking full advantage of their positions, an evil nexus of mafia and crime syndicate is making the life of a common man miserable. Taxpayers' money is siphoned out of personal gain of those in power, and ordinary people have been left as a mere spectators. As political parties have greater influence on media houses than the truth. As the fourth pillar of democracy along with judiciary, executive and legislature, media of today has an all-embracing role to act against the injustice, oppression, misdeeds and partiality of our society. Apart from politicians and political parties, business houses and national and international conglomerates have stakes in most of the media houses. This serves two main purposes. A. Media as an industry is profitable to the business owners. B. It lends the owners a voice. For example, Reliance India Limited, owned by Mukesh Ambani, is said to have equity in about 25 media houses, both print and broadcast. Jeffrey Craig points out that the government all over have developed a more sophisticated understanding of the needs and functions of media. According to him, this has resulted in shifting the balance of power in the favor of politicians, as the media is now too dependent on the information supplied by the political actors. Media articulates and molds public opinion. It is believed that when issues are put in public domain in various perspectives, the audience can form informed views and opinions on the happenings around them. According to Elizabeth Peirce, the media more often than not indulges in gatekeeping. Through gatekeeping, the media highlights certain issues, people, and events. Because of repetition of issues, people tend to adopt the news media's agenda and starts believing that these same events, people, and issues are more important than those not covered. News media is a part of society and is expected to be free and fair. The primary task of the media is to keep a close watch on the functioning of various institutions and bring issues in public domain, whereas that of government is to ensure autonomy of the media. The Internet, simply speaking, is a network of computers across the world connected to each other to share data. It is also called the web, cyberspace, virtual world, or the net as well. It not only provides a mean of communication and transferring information, it also offered new and alternative modes of expression. A very common modern era social media phase goes by saying, whoever controls the media controls the mind. In today's world, the media is the most powerful entity. It has the power to make the innocent guilty and vice versa because it controls the mind of the masses. So it's in the hand of the people to take control of their minds and decide what is correct. For this, social media is the ultimate equalizer. It gives a voice and platform to anyone willing to engage. The world of social media comes with its own set of positives and negatives. While we have discussed most of the positive aspects, it's time we see the negative part as well. Malware. It is a malicious software that spreads online like viruses from one system to another. The malware copies itself on each connected system and spies on the activities of the user. In times of digital banking, malware is a threat to personal security. Surveillance. In order to curb cyber and real life terrorism, security agencies like NSA, FBI, etc. intercept, decode, and analyze the information being shared on the web, private or public, for national security interests. Censorship. Censorship on the World Wide Web is the long standing debate. Countries like China and North Korea ban or limit the use of internet for their own internal security. Try ban hundreds of porn websites in India in 2015. Media is an exchange of information, education, entertainment, advancement, socialization, creates political awareness, is a catalyst to development.
Okay, so give me some idea about how media functions in your country. For example, I'll give mine from India. Majority of the media. Okay. In India, the majority of the media are private owned. Government channel or radio stations are there, but not of course, these are mandatory channels as a part of the television package. But private channels are very popular. Private news channels, private entertainment channels, Films, Indian film industry is a second next to Hollywood in terms of the industry size. Probably number one in terms of number of films are making, but the profit wise is second to Hollywood. Newspapers are more or less same way, mostly private owned, profit oriented, and there are a lot of criticism about Indian media industry and the development. For example, India is a developing country. It's UNDP. Every year they release the report about the standards of human living conditions. In that context, if you refer the latest UNDP report, we are in a 132 position. Okay, there are 131 countries better than India. Like, you can understand that in that condition, media is supposed to play a very crucial role. As I mentioned, that is a watchdog, particularly about various segment of the society. But they're mostly confined to urban. It's mostly urban, male centered. There are a lot of hierarchies, a lot of influences from outside. Corporates play a crucial role. So a lot of criticism, we can say that. So this is about the Indian case. So tell me about the media industry, how it performs, who operates that, how they're performing. Simple, whatever, based on your understanding, you can give me your understanding about your country's media system. Asta,
Yes, sir.
about
I am
which is,
from, yes, yes, tell me.
go ahead.
I'm going to answer. Yeah. Um, we like Mauritius and we are one of the African countries with a very less population of 1.3 million people. It's even smaller than the capital of India, Delhi, Mauritius. Yeah. So, in terms of media, and now the internet has taken over since a few years, because earlier we used to have only the one TV and radio station, just like in India you have Doordarshan and Prasar Bharati. So we used to have that, and then since a few years we started to get the introduction of like private radio channels, which started to operate with like more freedom of expression, as we say, because the TV is governed by the government. It is under the prime minister's office, so we have our own types of restrictions and all. So we have this is our scenario. So now we have like three, four private radios which have come up with their own internet platforms, social media platforms, and during COVID times, the proliferation of these platforms became even more intense, in terms of communication and all. So yeah, here like we are much more peaceful compared to other countries, but still we have our own internal issues and all concerning fake news, uh, people going on the internet and just taking liberty and doing just anything. Even private radio channels are being sanctioned for days because of what they broadcast, and they have to apologize. So yeah, there is this difference because just as you said before, like pro government and media houses which are against the government. So for my scenario, I work for the national TV and radio station. So it's a totally different scenario. It's like you, as a journalist, you practice, yes, but you have certain guidelines on in terms of expression. You need to be more factual and like just report. You cannot be analytical or critical. Yeah.
But Asta, in our country, which one dominates? For example, entertainment is being more powerful in terms of industry size or in terms of profit. Which player are very strong in terms of profit? You can say that television channels making more entertainment content.
Television channel is more profitable in terms of educating, awareness and information. Yeah. The TV, because we have only one TV and we have a strict law, because it needs to be promulgated by the parliament to be able to introduce a new. There are many barriers. So since years, since we have a monopoly, so if people need to watch more of political news, they like us or they don't like us, they'll have to watch it. So yeah.
And but you are saying internet is available, so they can watch any channel from outside the Mauritius, right?
Uh, yes, of course. We even myself, I watch channels from outside. Yeah.
Okay. So what kind
Yeah.
of content they are popular? I'm not saying you can't don't give the national perspective, but it's based on your understanding as a journalist.
Entertainment is yes, entertainment is a big industry. Like first, we are Mauritius. We are known for our seaside, and also our first thing, our film industry, like a destination for shooting. We
Mm,
we we are a major, like a good site for Bollywood, Hollywood, for Chinese film industry and all. And then entertainment, yes, as you said, yeah, be it on radio, be it on internet platforms or TV, entertainment is the main thing.
okay, okay, good. And what about other country? Nigeria. I can see a Tiago from Malawi, right? Tiago. Or Buhari. Are you from Nigeria, right, Buhari?
Yes, Prof. I'm from Nigeria.
Tell us something about the media system in Nigeria, how it operates. Is it a private owned or public owned, or newspaper? How many newspapers? Private or public? And it's a pro government or anti, but you don't need to give a critical views, but at least you can give very neutral point of view. How the
Yeah.
Nigeria media functions.
So in Nigeria here, the media is regulated by the government, but it allows private ownership of media houses, ranging from TV stations, radio stations, and also print media. And as you all know, social media too is a very prominent medium here in Nigeria, because like the census that was conducted and some forecasts, the youths dominate the higher population in the country. So it's regulated by NBC, that's Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation. One needs approval to do that. And ranging from the media, you see a lot of private-owned medias and also government-owned medias. And typically, just like the Western world, the way I perceive it, there's some news that when you are looking for, you won't find it in a particular media. So just trying to play a neutral role, anything pro-government surely would be on the government media. And some criticism of the government might also be found in the private-owned medias. And it's a career that a lot of people pursue over here. And regulation, you hardly find regulation issue, because sometimes when there is an unethical behavior by some media houses, you hardly find sanctions done, except when there is pressure coming from different sectors. But to the private-owned medias, you see a lot of maybe government sanctions and also regulations, because some of the stakeholders feel, no, you can't openly criticize the government and go scot-free. What happened, there was a time we had some uprising. I know some of the comments you make about Nigeria, I just used to laugh, and I don't wonder how you get them, because you are a journalist and you are really up to date. There was an incident about the IPOB, that's indigenous people of Biafra in the eastern part of Nigeria. And our president made a statement. So his handler of Twitter tweeted the exact wordings of his statement. And Twitter rules and regulation found one tweet being somehow inappropriate and aggressive towards an ethnic group. So they felt bad, and they, according to their regulation, they had to take the tweet down. And the government really took it very serious. We had the Minister of Information, we had the Minister of Communications that handled communication sector. To summarize it all, Nigerian government then banned using Twitter in Nigeria. And I think it was like a year ago or 2 years ago. Yeah, they were banned. So you only see people using Twitter in Nigeria while they're abroad. But all the algorithms they could lay their hands over indigenes for them not to be able to access Twitter, they did. And along the way, they had a resolution, and Twitter has been brought back online. And Twitter also made a steady role in gathering people to protest about the police brutality that we had. And SARS, I know you are aware of that also. So this is a way of bringing how media is being regulated in Nigeria. Then for the other channels, playing a biased role, an objective role. You see, when you compare, say, the TV stations of privately owned and government owned, you seem to see more effectiveness and efficiency from some of the privately owned medias, but rather also on one disadvantage again for the private media here, practically, you see that some journalists are are somehow biased. In fact, I was watching an interview last week with a former governor by a journalist known by most Nigeria that keep to the media. So he's always known for his controversial interviews, and there was a live clash between the former governor and the journalist. So that particular TV station was called out for its biasness, for its anti-government policy and other things. But along the way, media plays a very important role in our lives, and hardly would you see a Nigerian not informed. Even those that live in remote areas use radios, and they're well informed about the political space, the economic space, and what have you. So media, indeed, in Nigeria, it's still evolving. Say from scale of 1 to 10, I would give it 6, but we still have some important things that we need to learn from other countries to bring stability with the need media. But media plays a very, very drastic and key role in our daily lives in Nigeria. Thank you, Prof.
What about Twitter? Still it's being banned, or still you can access the Twitter? Buhari.
Yes, Prof.
In Nigeria, currently the Twitter is being allowed, right?
Yes, Twitter has been brought back. Yeah, Twitter is back now. They've resolved the differences.
Fine. Okay. What about any other country here? Anyone other than Mauritius and Nigeria?
Malawi?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Just as a...
Before that, tell me how big is the country? Like Mauritius, you are saying 1.3 million people. And
yes, I was coming to that.
Is it Asta million or billion? 1.3 million or billion?
That must be million.
Only million. 1.3.
We are the
very small.
Nigeria carries the highest population in Africa.
If you see the world map, if you see the world map, you see it as a dot, dot on the world map. Yeah.
What is the population in Nigeria, Buhari?
So as at the last census, with the forecast that it took place in 2006, and currently Nigeria stands to be over 220 million. But a new census will be conducted come May 2023. So we would have the glimpse of the exact, maybe approximately. But approximately now, any quote that you read in reports from World Bank, you would see over 220 million people.
Okay. And in India, it's a 1.3 billion. And I think we have taken the China.
Wow.
And we are the largest populated country in the world. Yeah, Malawi, how many people? You tell me the number.
Yes, we are almost 20 million.
20 million.
It's a
Okay.
population of close to 20 million
Bigger
people.
than
Yes.
Mauritius, smaller than Nigeria. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we are way too for small.
Right.
We are very small. Yes.
Okay.
Malawi, yes, we have both privately owned and of course government owned media, and these are national media broadcasts, and of course now we have got so many community uh, radio stations, and even in some cases TV. They are community of a specific interest. So they are put in various categories. They could be national or indeed community, depending on whatever topics or themes that these media houses focus on. And we have a regulation in Malawi, and all these media houses, most especially broadcasting, they are regulated by Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, which is MACRA in short. We have two newspapers, Nation newspaper, and of course the other one, which is owned by the Times Group. And these two publish at least have three, each one of them, each one of these two media houses, newspapers, have got the three publications, which comes out one daily and the other one they are weekends. As far as entertainment is concerned, our entertainment is still in its infancy stage. Because I need to also maybe to say this, that Malawi is one of the least developed countries, and not long ago our president was the chairperson of the least developed countries. So you can imagine. Online media is thought to be more popular, more especially among the youth. And the Malawi is a youthful country. It has got more of its population who are the youth. So online media is also more popular among the youth, unlike the traditional media, which is more popular among the other age group, and of course in the rural areas. They listen so much, or they rely so much on more especially radio. Freedom of expression in Malawi, this is debatable. It's debatable because not long ago we saw government closing down some of privately owned media houses on the reasons known to themselves. Of course, they were arguing that some of these media houses had not remitted their or renewed their licenses and whatnot. So they were using that to pounce on some of these privately owned media houses. So basically, that's what Malawi is all about in as far as the media is concerned. But we rely so much on these media houses, on most of the information, say from government perspective or even otherwise, private and so on. Yes.
No, but what is the reason for a large number of community radio stations in Malawi? You have said that a lot of community radio stations are functioning. Is
They,
it
they could
because,
be in the they could
is it
be in the excess of.
is it because of failure of government media, or is it a failure of other media platform unable to provide adequate content, information, entertainment? Because we have seen the community radios in many Asian countries. Sri Lanka is very successful. Nepal, Nepal monarchy got changed because of community radio station. Now they got a democracy because earlier it was a king. There's a Hindu king who was ruling the country. Community radio station, they mobilized the people like Buhari was saying, right? Twitter and social media played a role against the political police
Yes.
brutality. Right? Similarly, the community radio station played a very crucial role in an Asian context. Is it the same scenario in Malawi? We are saying a lot of radio station, you yourself working in a community radio, I remember, right? That's what you said last time.
I work with the one of it's a national radio station, but we have got an area of interest. So we are still recognized as a community radio station because we have got we focus on a certain community interest. So that's why we are regarded as a community radio station, but we broadcast nationally.
Okay. So
So
the
yes, yes,
how
you're speaking.
how big is a community radio? Is it localized in a particular district, city, or a small town? Or how big is the community radio? How many kilometers it covers?
Because of interest, most of the radio stations or community radio stations, they are established because of, say, an interest. I'll give an example of churches. Churches own a lot of radio stations, more especially community, radio stations, because they would want to be broadcasting their, messages and stuff to their people. So we have got the churches or even Muslims. They also have got the radio stations. And in terms of, say, coverage, most of these community radio stations, they are based in the rural places or rural areas, because it is also the MACRA's, as I was saying, a regulatory body. It is the MACRA's directive to say that just because Malawi is a very small country, and they don't want to say like have so many radio stations which broadcast nationally, and most of the times these radio stations, they will be broadcasting, say, same things. So they wanted that maybe if you would be interested in establishing radio station, that is to say, you would do, first of all, come up with an area of focus. That's what you want maybe to be focusing on specifically. So they will be giving you a license based on what you want to be focusing on, and you'll be given that license to operate in Malawi.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Right. Thank you. That's a good idea. We are getting about Mauritius, Nigeria, and Malawi. Any other country? Anyone other than that? Yeah.
Also,
Add
Prof,
anything?
if I would add, it just came to my mind. Nigeria also attracts some international media, like the BBC, the Voice of America, the German station. I don't know how to pronounce it very well, but I used to hear Deutsche Welle or Deutsche Welle. Yeah. And you also have Radio France International. You also have one of the stations from Chinese. And they all broadcast in one of the major languages in Nigeria, which is Hausa.
Okay.
And recently we also had, I think for a decade ago, we also had the BBC broadcasting in Pidgin English. So Pidgin English is like a semi-English, where communities don't speak like English in its pure grammatical way, but they just have a way of mixing the words and understanding each other. And we have a lot of people that did not go to school, or the unschooled population that understand such English. So it's they also play a role, those international medias. And so funny enough, you find like the Chinese station that broadcasts in Hausa, they have their own Chinese fellow citizens now that have learnt the language and are making presentations themselves. So it's the point I said, let me add.
Right. But Nigeria, one way it attracts the attention because of you have a lot of oil reservoir, right? Oil is one of the strong,
Sure.
that attracts attention.
Sure.
Right. Any other country? Any other than these three? Nigeria, Malawi, and Mauritius. Anyone wants to add? Habibu, where are you from? Malawi or?
And Prof, maybe just to make a mention, just as Buhari was saying, in Malawi we also have got these international media houses, say BBC, or even some of the channels from India. We also access them here in Malawi through online, and even these TV broadcasting or through satellite television. That's how we access all those international media.
But most of the Indian channels may not be in English, right? Maybe in other languages, either Hindi or other languages.
But there are two of them. I've just forgotten maybe their name. Is it I1? Should be I1, I think.
Oh,
I remember that one now. Yes, we watched that one.
Okay, okay, right.
Yes,
Good.
it's an English. It's an English channel. Yes.
English channel, yeah, right. Yeah.
Mm.
Good. Good to have. Yeah, I think personally I learned a lot about other country. We used to like you are learning about India, right? Similarly, we used to learn about your country through media only. So at least in a personal account, I can come understand the different media scenario. Okay, all right. So okay, presuming that all other belongs to the same three countries only, right? Habibu, Nigeria only, right? Okay, fine, no problem. That right. In the block one, primarily, I'm not going by unit wise, but primarily the block one talking about the role of media in the social context. And one of the unit talking about the policies, media policies. Now, based on our understanding, three country in comparison with the India, you can understand that how media functions. Majority, the government equally taking a control here also, but the private are dominating here. But you are many time your people are saying that the government also playing a crucial role in terms of number of media outlets. Here we have outlets, but private number more, and bigger industry, bigger money involved in the private players compared to government. Government they have a channels, but earlier 20 years back, up to 2000, up to 2000, last 20 years we got a lot of growth in media industry. Up to 2000, like Asta was talking about Doordarshan and Prasad Bharati, these are two, or one is a television channel, one is a radio channel. Both belongs to government of India, and entire nation, entire India gets the news. Television, I'm talking about television. Radio means only two: government radio or government television. There was no private, there was no satellite channels. So we have to rely on whatever being broadcast through government. But that got changed after 2000, probably I can say 1991, when the Middle East Iraq war came, right? Iraq and Kuwait occupation, right? That American allies, they went to the capture, remove the Iraq from the Kuwait. That point of time, CNN came with a live broadcast of Middle East war. That was the major watershed movement, I can say that. Not necessarily in India, in the global context, the satellite television revolution started from 1991 Middle East war. So from 1991 onwards, the private channels started. The one CNN became popular after the Middle East war. Many entrepreneurs in India, they started realizing that potential of starting a media television channel, particularly through satellite. With satellite means you don't need investment. Investment sense, you need a studio, you need a reporters, producers, camera, editing machine, everything, package it, and hire the transponder and broadcast. So the most of the private channels in India, particularly, you can relate with your country, and they hired the satellite from Singapore, Malaysia, right, sometime from Europe. They use the international satellite channels. They send the tapes from India to Singapore. From Singapore, they link it to the satellite. The satellite sends the signals to India. That was the scenario in early stage scenario, but after that, it's become it's a floodgate. Many radio stations, many television channels, of course, the international channels, like you are saying, all the BBC, CNN, name the channels, they are available in India, because of course they have to take a permission from government to broadcast, but in Pakistan channels are not available here. Similarly, Pakistan doesn't allow Indian channels. Otherwise, major international channels are allowed. They use, because the market is big. I'm saying 1.3 billion people means they'll get a money, some amount of profit they'll take. BBC is one of the strong player. CNN is not like that. Dutch Welle is not there. Radio France is there. Right, the Japanese channels are available, and interestingly, the Korean films are very popular in India. Though language is not known to us, the subtitles, many South Korean films are made in Indian films with the proper copyright, or maybe based on the inspiration. There are many, but Korean films are quite popular, very successfully, very popular among the youngsters. I haven't seen any Korean films, but this is a lot of reports came about the Korean films popularity here. They are very innovative, very interesting narrative. They used to do that. So these are the points discussed in the one of the unit in the block. One is about the media policies, how media functions that, and we gave the comparative study about how the US, France, and other countries. Interestingly, there is a one country from your region is being mentioned. That is about Ghana, I guess. France, Mexico, Ghana. Yeah, that's the only country from Africa is being included in the study, right? And otherwise, generally, it's being comparative study of different countries. And there's one unit is of talking about media audiences. Audiences, we can classify the media audiences in terms of the region, in terms of gender, in terms of that. I think we can, when we go to the block 4, when you're talking about media role in health, gender, and all right, we'll specifically talk about the audience. Audience primarily, I can give one brief outline, and I'll share the video in the Telegram group. You watch the video about the unit. It's about produced by our students only. And then the remaining another 10-15 minutes, I'll spend time with one topic. Then I will wind up the session. Okay. Audience are basically a passive and active. And the traditional media system, like now we are more interactive. When I'm teaching, we're speaking, you people are just listening, that you're not reacting or not asking any questions. If I ask you, then you are reacting that. And then the television channels and the newspapers, mostly we receive the information passive. And active, we became very active after the that social media became very popular, or internet became very popular. And in Malawi or in other countries, people are saying internet is very popular among the youngsters. So youngsters nowadays, they are adopting to the new platform. In America, you know that many youngsters, large number of youngsters, they prefer to read news in the Instagram. Their newspaper is almost dead, and New York Times, they have started giving more, investing more in digital platform rather than the printed copies. Okay, the English newspapers in developed countries are saturated, and even the reports are indicating that they are going a negative trend, negative growth. Right. So they are more investing in a digital platform. I think in New York Times, in the history of New York Times, they started getting a profit from digital. They're getting a negative profit in the print media, but actual profit is happening from digital. So now you can understand the change in the style of consumption, right? So these are all talking about these terms and conditions are talked in media audiences. You can read it clearly. One topic I really interested to discuss with you about, that the third unit about media and information literacy, media literacy. Yeah, Buhari, tell me.
Okay, yes, Prof. It just crossed my mind when you talked about the New York Times being online. So I believe if there is a way, maybe the school can do it. It just crossed my mind. So I did an MBA with a school in the US, and one of the services that we enjoyed during my stay as a student there was a subscription to the New York Times.
Oh.
So I was thinking, as students, if there is a way, maybe the school would look into such things, so that as me coming from Nigeria, let me have a taste of how other media houses, especially since our host country for the school is India, maybe some English newspapers in India, or we might even have participants overseas that learn and know how to speak Hindi. Maybe you collaborate with such schools. I know it's an additional cost, yes, but that will also give us more experiences in maybe going through this course.
All right.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
certainly we'll consider that. Right. Definitely. Okay. Okay. So the last topic I want to cover, and then with that I'll wind up the session. That's a unit number 3. Every one of you must be aware about the term literacy, right? Literacy, in the sense, what is it? The definition of literacy is very simple: the person who is eligible or able to read and write in any in a language, English or in your Malawi language or in a Somali language, whatever language we are familiar, that person should be able to read and write the language. That's called literacy. And we have a unit called media literacy. So what does it mean? What is the meaning of media literacy? Do you have any idea about that? Literacy, I'm giving the definitions: read and write in a one language. Somebody is able to read English, that's a literate person. Somebody is able to write something on Hindi, that's a person is a literate person. Somebody writes about the Somali language, that's a person is a literate person. So what is the meaning of media literacy? What is the definition of media literacy? What do you mean by the term media literacy? Anyone? Just give one, as per your understanding, your definition. I'll give my the bit little details. Media literacy.
Maybe could it be that one who is able or aware of trying to say comprehend and be able to analyze what is presented in the media, maybe?
Right, exactly. And media literacy, media and information literacy, that's what the UNESCO coins the term. As you have clearly mentioned that one of the function of media literacy is whatever the media materials are received by us should be able to understand it clearly. Okay, so that is what the media literacy is talking about. In the beginning of the session, I was talking about the media more powerful in the sense they have the capacity to change my mind, to change my opinion. Similarly, they can change your opinion, your mindset. And we can't allow somebody to change my mind, right? They don't have any rights, they don't have any authority to change my opinion, right? But they're doing, you know what I'm saying, that so media can influence. They change their behavior, particularly youngsters. So we are little mature, we know what is the bad and what is the right, what's the good, what's the bad, we can understand the difference. Think about the person, 14 teenagers watching television, reading news. They may not have that much world experiences. They may not have that much understanding about life and everything. So they're fresh, and their mind is fresh, and it can be occupied. Anyone can occupy. If it is simple influence, they can do it. But that's not good, because whatever the opinion we are incorporating in their mindset, right, it will stay for a longer period of time. So there's when the media become very aggressive. Now you are all admitting that internet become very popular, television become very popular, newspaper playing a role, community radio is coming. So our exposure to media is large number. In one of the statistics shows that this American report saying that the youngsters mean the age group of 13 to 29 or 27, youngsters, they spend 6 hours with the media. In a 24 hours time, in a day, 6 hours they are watching or reading or playing, whatever. They are spending 6 hours with the media. Comparatively, they are spending less than 1 hour for education. Education means using media for education, or reading a newspaper, or just 2 hours they are spending with their parents in a day. They're spending just 2 hours with their parents, but 6 hours with the media. Now I can understand that, because the parents also very crucial in shaping the behavior, but they are spending time only 2 hours with the parents, but 6 hours with the media, and another 8 hours with the school or college. the large number of the interaction with the outside world is being influenced by media. And media is very powerful, profit oriented, and being used, the media platform is being used by multiple stakeholders for their benefit. Political parties, corporates, and other stakeholders, they use the platform because you are reaching nook and corner, large millions of people. But through the effective communication, like Buhari is very good in a public speaking, right? So you can attract the attention, retain the attention, mold the opinion in favor of your ideology, or in favor of your services, or in favor of your products, or in favor of your policies. So that can be done. So how to resist that? Media is powerful. They are occupying our mind. But how to resist that? So you can't allow someone to come to my home, right? So without my permission, they can't come. But in my mind, anyone can occupy my mind. How to resist that? That's called media literacy. So you have to aware about how media functions, how to read between the lines, how to identify the right information. You are said about the fake news and all. So fake news are very clear agenda, but not by mistake. It's a very clear strategy by an individual, a group of people to achieve something. They are creating fake news, they're creating misinformation or disinformation with a clear agenda of some mileage, some profit, or some expectations. So, how to resist that? How to resist the powerfulness of media? How to understand who's making the message and with what intention they're making a message? How to resist that? How to read between the lines? How I can understand the media is working on that? So, all this is called media and information literacy. And since it's a very required in the youngsters, and many developing countries, their populations are young, and unlike the developed Japan. If you go Japan or China or many European countries, they are average age of the populations are aged people. Aged means 50, 45, 50, 55, like that. Whereas the developing countries, for example, India, the average age of the Indian population is 29. You can understand that the majority of the populations are young. Similar with in many of African countries, right? The youngsters are exposed to media, particularly social media and online. There is no limit about information, and of course, media is important, but it has to be used appropriately. So who will teach them? Media is part of life. We are every day we are using that, and nobody's teaching us. You read the newspaper like this. You please understand this particular news from these channels. Understand this manner. Who's teaching us? Very limited scope for that. Probably when we come to the block 4, last block, when we are talking about education, we'll talk more about how this schools are responding to media. We can discuss a lot about that. And but I can conclude the today's sessions with the one statement saying that majority of the developed countries, either Australia or many of European countries, Canada or America, they have well planned strategy of teaching youngsters, school children, about media education, media literacy. They have media literacy program in the school curriculum in the third standard, the third standard, fourth, fifth, like the younger age group from eighth onwards, eighth, ninth, 10th, up to 15 years old. That is a crucial time. The schools of those countries, developed countries, clearly giving a orientation to the youngsters how to handle the magazines, how to read Twitter, how to handle the Instagram, or how to handle the television serials, and particularly how to participate. One is receiving information, but in a Facebook or Instagram, it gives an opportunity for you to post information responsibly. We have the responsibility in society, then only we can stop the fake information. All this being introduced in the school curriculum. Okay. And but this is a challenge for developing countries. right? That needs to be. We will discuss a little lot, and during the possibly next week we can talk about this education and media. We'll when there is a block about four, we'll talk about that. Okay. I will share the all the MGM 24 out of 16, 17 units. We have videos for 12 units. We have the videos. We have produced the videos produced by MAJMC students only. It's all 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes videos. I will share the playlist in the Telegram group. Whenever time permits, you watch that. Okay, just you maybe along with the reading, it might be because I played one, right? Then I have all the videos, but no time to play that. But I'll share it in the Telegram group. Watch it, right? If you have any questions, you can ask me right now because otherwise you can take a break of 15, 20 minutes. Then next session starts from 5 o'clock onwards. Okay. Is it fine?
Okay, so we'll wait here only then.
You can log off. I can come back after 5 o'clock
Yeah.
because I'm not taking the second session. One of our staff from the SOGNM is Akriti, and she will handle the second block of about media and development. Right?
Okay, it was nice to be with you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.